now we're filming at Link Greenhouses in Bowmanville, Ontario. We have 3 acres of hydroponic tomatoes and cucumbers inside the greenhouse, and then we also have field crops. We grow garlic, asparagus, and potatoes throughout the summer.
My dad bought this farm in 1954, 60 years ago, and he started making syrup that first year. It's a good life.
It's a love of the land. It's a lot of hard work.
Enjoyable work.
It's enjoyable. It's
rewarding.
It is, yes, rewarding, definitely.
We live in a society nowadays where people are so distant to the understanding of where their food comes from. They think that you go to the grocery store and it just shows up there, and they don't have a realization of where it actually comes from. So by teaching them, or maybe bringing them to a farm and showing them, it starts with the seed, you grow it all year, you harvest it, and then it's packed, and then it shows up in the store.
I think they need to be aware that their fruit and their vegetables, their milk, their cheese, whatever they're buying doesn't come from the grocery store, and to keep it as local as they can. Anytime I think anybody does buy local, it helps not only just the farmer, but it helps other businesses in the area as well.
You're supporting a farmer who is supporting the local community with staffing, buying products, and just keeping the farm running. So it's good all around. We're buying things from different countries. Our money from Ontario, or even from Durham region, is now being put over there and it's gone. So it's important to support local, and you're going to taste the difference. The last 10 years there's been a huge push on people buying local, and people are starting to ask questions on how is this grown, is this GMO, is this, and people want to know. So as a farmer, it's our job to inform people, and we have to be on our toes too and make sure we know what we're doing.
Question we get a lot when people come to buy maple syrup, they ask, do we actually make it right here? So I think they want to be more aware.
When we do our tours, I do try to do the whole hands-on from the tree to the bottle, and people want to know that. As far as transportation, if somebody can produce it, somebody will get it there.
Basically, they just need to show up and say, we're interested in buying local stuff, and it's as easy as us just delivering it. Wholesaling companies, that's their business. They buy and sell produce, and they deliver. Every restaurant gets delivered to on a weekly basis. Every grocery store gets deliveries every day.
That has to be the ultimate goal, is that these institutions and various associations and public places will use what is accessible and doesn't have to travel, in a train or a truck hundreds of miles to get here. It's certainly much fresher. Promotion
is the key word, because promotion is communication, and the more people can realize where their food comes from and what is being produced here, it makes a big difference. Strawberries, raspberries, red currants, gooseberries, rhubarb, asparagus. It was all grown in the garden.
Easy accessible. And I think it still is, but I find that urban people don't realize that, yes, they have to travel maybe out of the city to obtain those things, but they are all out there for them.
Ontario is a great place to grow fresh produce, Durham region especially. We have a great climate, and we're able to grow a lot of good things. The problem is, obviously, we can only grow for 4 or 5 months of the year, so what do you do with the rest of the time? We're able to extend our season with the greenhouse, so we have tomatoes, cucumbers, and lettuce, which can go pretty much 10 months of the year. Potatoes we're able to store in storage. Same with apples, carrots, beets, pretty much any root crop you can have year round. Here we're in the one crop of tomatoes. We have 3 acres of greenhouses here, and we grow 3 different types of tomatoes. What we're looking at here is a tomato on the vine, like you'd see in the grocery store, and they grow evenly sized and right on the vine. We'll end up harvesting it off the plant here, and it'll go to the grocery stores like this on the vine. We also have in another section of the greenhouse grape tomatoes and cherry tomatoes, which are your small ones that we package up. And we grow a beefsteak variety, which you would harvest one at a time off the plant. What you're seeing here is a lot of vine from the plant. When we start the plants in the winter time, they're only about this tall, and they're placed right up here on this slab of cocoa fiber. And the reason we use that is because it allows the roots to grow freely through it, and it's very airy, and it holds the moisture well. So the plant will be planted on this slab, and then through the summer it'll grow. So what you're seeing here is one plant that's actually now probably way down at the other end. It's probably close to 30 feet long by now. And then when we take the plants out in another 4 months, you're probably going to have this plant being 50 or 60 feet long. And every week you just harvest another cluster of tomatoes. Now we've moved from the greenhouse out into our potato field. We grow 30 acres of potatoes and we supply restaurants, a few of the grocery stores, and chip wagons. Right now we're in mid-July and everything's in full bloom, which means the tubers are setting in the ground and the plants are absorbing the sun and photosynthesizing. We grow a few different varieties. We have a white potato, a russet, which chip trucks like to use, and then what we're looking at here with this pink flower is actually Yukon Gold, a yellow potato. If we dig one of these up right now, you can see that the white roots are setting these tubers, and I'd say they're still a good 2 months away from harvesting. By September, we'll come in and dig them all, and then they'll be good for storage for over the winter.
Our whole life and products mostly depend on the weather. Yeah, we ship milk, but in order for those cows to produce milk, they have to have proper feed. So we have to be very flexible, especially with the weather, because it's all based on the weather, and maple syrup definitely is based on the weather conditions in the spring.
We have approximately about 2,000 taps. A good rule of thumb, on a good production year, you would produce about 1 liter of syrup per tap. We can make, on a good year, 1,600 to 2,000 liters of syrup.
We run the sap to the far end of the bush and goes in large tanks. It's all under vacuum, and from the sap from the tanks down there is pumped up underground across the field into this feed tank that's up here at the top. From the feed tank, it will go into our evaporator. So the heat from the furnace will go up and heat up there, so by the time it comes into the flow box here, it's almost at boiling point. So at this end, from here to there is called the sap pans. So once it gets down here, again, flow box, and it will travel into the 2 syrup pans, and that's where the syrup is made. From there, we put it into a finishing stove. Once it's filtered properly, we then transfer the hose from there into a canner, which then is like a hot water heater. So there's a water jacket in here with water in there, the syrup in the center, and I bottle it here from the taps at the front here. And we get our syrup. Whether it's a new baby calf being born, whether it's the first beans coming out of the ground, whether it's the corn, that you see being, whether it's just at night looking at the sky, and it's very rewarding.
My daughter lives on another farm up here on the hill, and she's got a lawn chair that she faces out to the sun. And I know she's watching the sunset. And what she's watching is this far as the sun comes down. So that's enjoyable for her. You know what's enjoyable for me? A new heifer calf on Christmas Day. See those soybeans pop out of the ground? 10 days after they're planted? I tell everybody I'm not a rich man, but I got a rich life.